Hello and welcome to another episode of Enter the Nerdosphere, the official podcast for the Nerdosphere. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. We discuss all things that are inside the Nerdosphere, whether it be movies, TV, comics, and video games. This podcast, we discuss a major topic that we feel needs fleshed out, and our opinions should be heard. This week we are discussing Transformers, Michael Bay's Transformers to be more specific, and a little bit of a tidbit that came to light this past week, and we'll get into that here in just a second. I am Clayton Presson. I'm joined as always and forever as with my brother, Corbin.
Hello. It is my pleasure to be here today.
How are you today?
Doing well. This warmer weather, it's not liking it. Not liking the spring. I want to go back to winter and fall.
Fall. I was gonna say fall. I like fall.
I like fall, but I also like winter. There's certain coats that I can wear in winter that I can wear in fall. I'll still sweat in fall if I wear certain things.
I can understand that. I've gotten to where I don't really like winter though. I don't really like being like super cold. I just kind of like being like chilly. So fall is ideal.
Yeah, it's funny. This past
like
week,
45 degrees outside is like perfect. 45, 50.
Gotcha. I was catching up on New Girl, and come to find out, this last episode that I watched was the season finale, which I felt like it ended kind of abruptly. Spoiler alert: Jess and Nick confess their love for each other, and they kiss in the elevator. Elizabeth Merriweather is saying she kind of doesn't want to do another season. And Zoe Deschanel doesn't want to do another season either. And Zoe Deschanel was like, this would be a great series finale. My comment to that is, while this show, I think, could not last one more season because the identity of the show would change, because the show as a whole is about a bunch of singles living a single life and getting shenanigans because they're single lives and they're all falling in love, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
We still need to be proven on screen that Jess and Nick work together. The issues why they didn't work are still there. You can say I love you all you want, but compatibility is still an issue. And I feel like them getting together is almost a forced point up high, because when you look back to when her and Sam got back together, they invested a lot of time to get those characters back together and in each other's trust. You have her giving him the love letter to his childhood friend, him saying, you know, that's the most selfless thing you have done for me. Like, I love you. You have Jess bragging about the first time she's been in an adult relationship and loving it. The next episode, he breaks up with her. And to me, I was like, that's so unnatural that it's almost like someone up high was like, no, like, this can't be a thing. So I really hope it wasn't the series finale, because I feel like it's too abrupt, and I don't get the closure that I feel like we deserve for these characters.
I also wouldn't be opposed to Zoe Deschanel not coming back, because I liked the show better when she wasn't on it anyways. At least at this point. Like, originally it was really good, but then for whatever reason, when she took her little hiatus...
Right.
It brought some life back into it where it had otherwise kind of gotten...
Even characters like Cece, who I still don't think are really funny, that she had to carry more, so they invested more time with her and fill those gaps. Megan Fox, I don't think, was a hilarious replacement, but the core of that show is Winston, and Nick.
Yeah. Those 3 men are so funny. All right, well, let's get into this, because we've gone on a New Girl tangent for about 3 minutes. So,
but I think it's a good a variety to show things that we care about other things.
We do care about other things, and New Girl is one of them.
And that's a fun tidbit.
Have you noticed? Did you notice, like, in the last 2 or 3 episodes, it was they were all saying, "Don't put that on me," or "That's on me," or like it was just like this ongoing thing that they just kept, "Don't you put that on me." Or like when Winston was convincing What's-Her-Face to go along with his lie that he's a
radio guy for
his
mom.
Radio guy. And then she finds out, or she did nothing but ask about it when Winston said she won't ask at all about it. And then Winston's like, yeah, that's on me. Oh, man.
He's so great.
He's probably my favorite TV character of all time. Winston.
His dissension into insanity when he got back from Latvia was just amazing. And then once he got Ferguson the cat, it was just...
Yep. Oh, man. All right, well, let's talk about Transformers. So, it has come to light that every time a movie comes out, for one, Michael Bay says, this is my last one. I'm done with giant robots. I can't think anymore because all I see is giant robots. And then guess what? Another movie comes out, and guess who's directing it? Michael Bay. So, again, he says, I'm not gonna be directing any more Transformers movies. Oh, by the way, there's gonna be 14 more.
There's 14 Transformers in the works.
By the way, we have 14 coming. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and direct the Bumblebee prequel movie because technically it's not a Transformers movie, but I want to direct it. Oh, by the way, this topic was brought to us by one Nicholas Lanham.
Yes.
He reached out to us on Twitter and wanted us to discuss this topic. So thank you, Nick.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
For bringing this topic to our attention.
So we knew when they finished off Extinction, they were going into the last night, that they had some sort of round table with, like, Kirkman.
It was supposed to be with, like, the shared universe with G.I. Joe and, like, all that stuff, right?
Which they're apparently still moving forward with in the future. Like, they're talking about maybe
Therein lies the 14.
In the next 2 years, we are going to see a G.I. Joe reboot. And they're trying to retool it to where you have Micronauts and Rob the robot be a part of it all. They want that to also carry over into Transformers as well. The Bumblebee movie is supposed to be a prequel. I don't know if you said that.
I did.
Michael Bay wants to direct it.
Yes, even though he's done with Transformers.
He's done with the title card Transformers.
Right.
It would be like Joss Whedon being like, I'm done with Avengers, but I'm going to make all the standalones.
Right, yeah. Totally done with Avengers, but I'm directing the next Iron Man, Captain America, and the next Spider-Man, and the next Black Panther, and...
So I guess my biggest thing is, as someone who I love Transformers. I made a slideshow on PowerPoint so that people could learn who all the Transformers were and what their personalities were like.
He did.
I love Transformers. It has rich lore.
You should finish that, and we should put it out as a video.
We should. But it has a rich lore. There's so much the Transformer universe that these movies have failed to even touch upon. And I feel like even with 14 movies, there's no way to autocorrect onto that lore. And because you've killed off all the main characters at this point that are interesting and grip your attention. But you have characters like Hot Rod's going to be in this one. So spoiler, it's probably going to be Unicron. That's that giant crab-grabbing planet. Probably not going to transform into a robot at all. It's probably just Unicron. It's just this moving planet that just moves around and hits things.
Probably. And we've already, like, taken aspects of the Unicron story and used it, like, with Galvatron and stuff.
Yeah, Megatron's back in this one. I think that the worst thing that ever happened to the Transformer franchise was Michael Bay coming back. Because after Dark of the Moon, Paramount wanted to reboot the franchise, and I think that would have been a wise choice.
Was it after Dark? Wasn't Dark of the Moon the second one?
Dark of the Moon was the third.
Ooh.
Yeah, but Michael Bay, with all of his wisdom and hubris, he was quoted as saying he couldn't fathom the idea that something he worked so hard to create would just be flushed away. That he wanted to make one more. The Extinction would be his last one, to ensure that the franchise continued long after him. One movie later, he's saying, "This is my last one."
Yeah.
So for me, I think the Transformer franchise is forever doomed. For whatever reason, they do amazing domestically and abroad. But so do the Fast and Furious movies, and so do the Resident Evil movies abroad.
Because they cater to just the destroy, boom side of all of us.
It's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies, this one being the 5th, for Transformers to actually have semi-distinguishable faces and have color on them. So that is showing progress. My thought process with that, though, is if Bumblebee is a prequel, then we're just going to watch a bunch of garbage disposals fighting each other inside a giant garbage disposal.
Because
look back.
That's what it looks like.
Look back to their proto forms. It's just gray mesh.
Yeah.
So I don't know how a Bumblebee prequel would work. You couldn't have humans because they weren't on Earth, which makes me worry about the quality of how things would look.
Mm-hmm.
This frustrates me deeply, because I don't think that despite their efforts and what they say, I don't think there probably is a truly cohesive vision for this franchise.
No, there's not.
Spin-off films is not what this franchise needs.
Just 14. Just let's think about that for just a second. 14 movies. That means we're either going to get one Transformer movie for the next 14 years.
If they shove one out.
If they shove one out every year. Or we will be dealing with this version of Transformers for the rest of our lives. Which I don't know if I can handle.
I don't think I can handle that.
Because let's say, so it's 28 years. If it's every couple of years they poop one out, I'll be 58. I'll be 58.
And Peter Cullen's not getting any younger.
No, he's not.
We need a good. That's also my biggest thing is I just want one good. I want one great. I deserve this. I want one great Transformer movie with Peter Cullen before he dies.
Yeah, Transformers, the original one.
The 1980s movie.
Yeah.
Well, I want to. Okay, fine. I can die a happy man. I got it.
You got what you wanted already.
I did. But I wanted to see it live action. I wanted to see that.
I know.
It's just it really hurts my soul. Because the Decepticons and Autobots are just so cool. Their war is great, especially when you get into like the creation of them and like the various Transformer gods. Like Unicron is one of 3 Transformer gods. It's just
there's a lot. What we've been given is just nitpicking certain things and giving us explosions attached to it.
I will say he does sometimes make it hard to hate him. You know, Michael Bay.
No, you can't hate him because he's like, in my mind, he's on the same level of like James Gunn or other certain directors nowadays that are basically standing up for almost a new Hollywood that's not full of just snobs. Douches and snobs.
Because, you know, with this one, he was talking about it's his last movie, so he really wants to make it count. So he wants to do something innovative, and he is for the first time filming a movie in native 3D. Which I guess something I didn't realize before this is the first Transformer movie is one of the biggest things that propelled IMAX cameras. So Michael Bay is always almost in the same sense as James Cameron has been very involved in the technical side of things and wanting to see that evolution. So what he's doing is he's using 2 IMAX cameras simultaneously when filming these scenes, so that when it's brought together in 3D, there's a legitimate depth. Which, when he explains like how native 3D works, it's like, oh, that would make sense because you need 2 perspectives to create 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
But that also costs a crap ton of money. And takes a lot of time and a lot of precision. And probably takes a little bit longer to do as well. So like, there's a lot of things that I respect about this guy.
Yeah.
I just
when he came out and like
movies,
he straight called out Hugo Weaving when Hugo Weaving was being all snobby about these quote unquote nerdy roles, and Michael Bay was like, "How can you talk down about any role when you get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for 20 minutes of your time?"
Yeah.
Like, how can you not respect him? However, the movies you deliver are trash.
It is.
I will say he's had some success in my mind as a producer. Like the Friday the 13th reboot. I actually really like that one.
Yeah, I mean...
And then, wasn't there something else
the TMNT films he produced.
I never even actually watched those, so I can't speak
I've
to
heard
them.
that they're okay.
I can't speak
But I'm
to
not
them.
a TMNT fan. I never have
Me
been.
either. And I'm a fan of the new Nickelodeon show. That's a good show.
He did produce I'm Number 4, which didn't go anywhere, but...
It's a good movie.
That's an underrated film that deserves
Spoiler alert, that's on my...
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on my top 5 underrated movies that you should watch when we do that episode. Spoiler alert.
I didn't know that. Speaking of Hugo Weaving, was there a previous podcast where I actually brought to your attention something that Sam Jackson accidentally slipped in an interview about the Red Skull?
Maybe.
He was basically it was like a couple weeks ago. Sam Jackson was interviewed on like, he's obviously miffed that he can't be in Black Panther. He's like, I can't be in Black Panther. I'm a black man. I want to be.
Yeah, but you're not involved in that story. Just stop it.
So they said, well, what's your character been up to leading up to Infinity War? And he said,
oh yeah, he's been looking for the skull.
My character's been figuring out where the skull has been.
Yeah, It won't be Hugo Weaving probably though.
No, which I'm okay with at this point.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. You just put the skull mask on anybody, and it's not going to be that.
I think
big
it'd
of
be
a
cool to actually have in the comics his personality jumps a few bodies sometimes, and it'd be cool if they meshed Baron Zemo with the Red Skull. And
that would be cool. Give some justification to Baron Zemo because they totally wasted that character.
Yeah, so like make him become the new Red Skull and just combine those characters, just like you did with Whiplash and Tornado. And
that'd be kind of a good idea, unless they have plans for actually creating the actual Baron Zemo from here on out.
Yeah, I'm sort of saying. But Transformers. Just think about, we know that Star Wars, we were going to have Star Wars films for the next, I mean, they're planning it till, I think, 15 years too. That's different. It's Star Wars, in my mind. Or is it really different? Or is it presumptuous to have that plan?
No. It is different because Star Wars is a universe that was created for cinema, for one. It also, besides the prequel episodes, continues to deliver quality movies that are beloved by most everyone. It is very hard to find someone who doesn't like Star Wars or has never seen Star Wars. It's hard. So I think it is different. And Star Wars has, like Transformers, has such a huge depth of lore to explore that you could forever, as long as you keep delivering quality, you could forever explore that universe. The difference with the difference with Transformers is it's based on a property that they didn't respect. It was turned into a glorified explosions fest with no real depth or character. True. And they've already bastardized the lore, picking things where they wanted from different time points to create whatever story that they wanted.
Cybertron also being completely destroyed at this point, which Cybertron still existed.
It still existed.
It was just not living.
And then they want to continue to push out this dumbed down douchebag type version
Brofest
for 14 more episodes. So there is a difference.
True. Okay. So you're right. And then you have the middle ground where you go, that could be cool and it could not work also, where the new King Arthur film by Guy Ritchie tentatively is planned for 12 films.
Let's do it.
As we're telling a film version of the complete Arthurian tales.
Which we've never had before. We've never had a legit good interpretation of the actual Arthurian legends. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. And Guy Ritchie, he's going to do it. I know it.
It's going to be great.
I'm okay with it.
That movie...
Until we see that first movie and walk out and for whatever reason say this was the worst movie ever, will I change my tune on that?
Gotcha. So yeah, there you go. So it's not even in the middle ground.
No, it's
in the forefront and anticipated.
Yeah. It's a prime example as long as it delivers.
Right, because if you start as the genesis with that longevity of a plan, there's a cohesive vision.
Yeah,
and it works.
There's something to be said there. That's a great point.
Transformers dates back to the version of Hollywood where you didn't plan for sequels. A movie did well, and you go, "Oh, that made money. Let's make another." So you try to expand upon an idea that was not intended to have extended ideas.
Exactly.
And so it never adds up. It has a ton of plot holes, becomes convoluted.
Yep.
And that's how every Transformer movie has been.
Yes. So that's another great point. It was never intended to be a 14 long saga. Oh, actually it would be 19, 20.
And I would dare say, if you're going to do 14 and you have to have Michael Bay do it, still reboot it. You know what I mean? Like, still reboot the franchise. If you want Michael Bay to be the director, fine. But you should still start fresh. Say, okay, like, that was that. This is this. We're going in a new direction.
I will admit, there is something to be said for a director who can direct an entire movie based on giant robots where there's nothing there.
Right, because when we watch special features of those action sequences, there's a lot of thought.
There's a lot of thought. And so props to him there. He just... maybe someone else needs to be the actual visionary behind the look of the Transformers, and then someone else other than whoever the heck has been needs to be writing these films, because this is also, and you bring it up, it's kind of like old Hollywood. It is, because it started before the MCU, and MCU has really changed the game where it's okay and actually better to respect the source material. So it's almost like do a soft reboot,
Right.
throw everything out. If you want Michael Bay to direct, that's fine, because behind a good writer and the Transformers looking more like the source material, he might be able to deliver something decent.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Much like Zack Snyder with the Justice League stuff. If you were to just really limit his control, we could end up with a great looking DC film.
Exactly.
With good, as long as the other stuff is changed.
We'll see.
So,
the Flash looks good in that preview.
I did like
good.
the scene where he runs and the camera tracks with him. I was like, that looks cool.
Still not on board with how they went with an armored type suit, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
Trying to stay positive.
I'm just trying to stay positive, because gosh darn it, the Flash is one of my favorite superheroes of all time, and if they've already ruined Superman and Batman, and
they've ruined Batman and Superman.
Come on.
Nick, long-time listener, first-time caller, said, something is amiss when the best-looking and most intriguing character in your trailer is Aquaman. And of all the solo films, the only one you're truly looking forward to is Aquaman, because it's the only film that hasn't been riddled with drama. And could be
I guess
original.
so, yeah.
And I was like, that's a good point. Well, it wasn't until the New 52 that Aquaman became like a relevant superhero when Jeff Johns retooled him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny that of all the people, Aquaman's one who was like, please don't be bad.
Yeah. But anyways, so we rambled a lot in this episode.
We did. But we touched on a lot of things.
Yeah. I feel like you can walk away from this having a better idea of our opinion on what's going on, and we even offered a suggestion on how to fix it, and we didn't even try to do that.
You're right.
So
it does go...
Hire me.
And I think there's something to be said with the MCU retooling how franchises are made. I think it's almost like a TV mentality applied to films. Like you plan a season. You plan it's... But... So yeah.
All right.
So thank you all again for your time and listening. Let us know what you think of the Transformer franchise. Do you disagree with us? Do you think the Transformer films are some of your favorite summer blockbusters and your go-to films on a rainy day? Let us know why you like them, and we would love to talk to you about why we don't. But, you have your opinion, we have ours. Let's discuss it. Let's chat about it. Come on.
Change my mind.
Change our mind. Tell us why this is some of the best.
Change my mind.
Tell us why this is some of the best movies to ever be made. Be sure to like and comment on this video. If you would like to, please subscribe, as we are trying to grow our audience. You can always find us on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and Twitter. All the links are sprinkled down below. And as always, thank you for visiting, giving us your attention.
Next time.